Stop before you keep scrolling. Answer this in your head right now. How do you know your dad is your dad? You're going to say DNA, obviously. But here's the problem. For over 95% of human history, that answer didn't exist. No tests, no proof, no way to confirm it. And yet, every single society on Earth still had to answer that question somehow, every single day. What you're about to hear isn't a guess. It's one of the strangest, most under-talked about discoveries in human history. The moment our ancestors finally connected two events that happened 9 months apart. And the wrong answer to that question shaped entire civilizations for thousands of years. Here's the part that breaks most people's brains the first time they hear it. For a huge stretch of early human history, there is strong anthropological evidence that men did not know they caused pregnancy. Why would they? Think about the timeline. The act happens once. The result shows up 9 months later. There's no visible thread connecting the two. 9 months is an enormous gap for a brain with no calendar, no writing, and no concept of tracking time in long stretches. Cause and effect only works for the human brain when the effect happens fast. Touch fire, feel pain, instantly connected. Plant a seed, see a sprout in days, connected. But this? 9 months of nothing, then suddenly a baby. Early humans had zero framework for linking those two dots. And here's where it gets personal, because this isn't some distant abstract fact. If you're a man watching this, there's a real chance your own ancestors, going back far enough, genuinely did not understand that they were biologically connected to their own children. The single most personal fact about you, who your father is, was, for most of human history, completely unprovable and often unknown even to the people involved. So who did they think created life, if not the obvious answer? This is where it gets even stranger. In the absence of a clear cause, ancient cultures didn't just shrug and move on. They built entire belief systems to fill the gap. Some cultures believed women created children entirely on their own, that men played no role at all. Others believed spirits, ancestors, or specific foods entered a woman's body and became a child. Some Aboriginal Australian belief systems, documented by early anthropologists, held that a child's spirit came from a specific sacred site the mother had walked past, not from a man at all. It sounds impossible to believe today, but every single one of these explanations was someone's genuine best attempt at solving a real mystery with the only tools they had: observation, pattern matching, and survival logic. And this isn't some fringe theory a few researchers made up. This idea, called paternity uncertainty, is one of the most cited concepts in evolutionary anthropology. Researchers studying isolated tribes well into the 20th century documented societies that still didn't connect intercourse to childbirth, confirming what anthropologists had long suspected about deep human history. If you've never heard this before, you're not behind. Almost nobody outside specific academic circles has. Here's why this single missing piece of knowledge mattered so much it reshaped entire civilizations. If you don't know who fathered a child, you can't build inheritance systems around fatherhood. You can't pass down land, status, or resources through a paternal line with any confidence. Entire social structures, marriage, family names, inheritance laws, could not exist in their modern form until this one biological link was understood and, more importantly, believed. The moment that connection finally clicked in human societies, everything changed. Property started passing through fathers. Lineage names appeared. The concept of legitimate children and the immense social pressure that came with it was born directly from this single discovery. One missing piece of knowledge. And it rewired how every family on Earth would organize itself for the next several thousand years. So here's what's strange when you reverse engineer this whole thing. The most basic fact about your own existence, that you are the biological result of two specific people, is something humanity had to discover, piece by piece, argue about, and eventually build entire legal and social systems around. You know it instantly, without thinking. Your ancestors spent thousands of years not knowing it at all. And once ancient societies finally figured out where babies came from, they immediately had a second problem. If fatherhood determines property, status, and inheritance, how do you actually prove who the father is, with zero science and zero tests? The methods some cultures use to prove paternity are even stranger than the confusion that came before it.